it's Leah and welcome back to my channel. So I'm super excited to bring to you guys, if you haven't already seen by the title of this video, my review of Solo: A Star Wars Story. I had the opportunity to see it last night and I've been super excited to make this review for everybody. That being said, this video doesn't really contain spoilers per se because the majority of the items in the movie that I'm going to be talking about are common knowledge or things that we already knew, which is basically mostly the entire movie. But this is your warning. If you don't want to know anything at all about Solo, make sure you click off this video, go watch another video of mine, and then come back once you've seen it. So without further ado, let's get started. So I never thought that I would say this, but while it was still hard to watch somebody else playing Han, just because he's such an iconic character, I will say that the kid did his homework. Like, I started noticing as the film progressed, everything from the way that he was speaking, to his facial expression, down to the way that he leaned in the doorway of the Millennium Falcon. Dead on ringer for Han. I mean, I still, obviously, like I said just moments ago, it was pretty hard. Obviously, he doesn't look like Han, but we're not expecting him to. We're expecting him to play this character, not Harrison Ford. But so that was a little bit of an adjustment. It was off to a really rough start, but like I said, as the movie progressed and towards the second half of the film, you could tell that he really started getting into his character, which was really nice to see. That was my biggest worry about this film. I'm still slightly uneasy about it, but I can put that to rest now. One thing that I will say is this film kind of like ruined a few things for me. While they checked off all the boxes of things that they knew fans would want to see in this Solo film, like explaining how Han met Chewie, or how Han met Lando, or how Han got the Millennium Falcon, I did not need to know how Han got his last name. I just assumed it was his last name. And this kind of just like, I was like, oh, that's like a really mundane thing. Like, I was a little disappointed in their decision to tell us more than we needed to know about that aspect. That being said, there are a lot of kind of issues with this film that I really hope it's just because, you know, they were trying really hard to play it safe for this origin story. It's supposed to be the first out of 3, so I'm really hoping that they use this one as a stepping stool. I will say the beginning was really rough to watch. The last portion of the movie was actually really good and had me kind of hopeful for any more potential films after this. They set it up really nicely. They had a little bit of a plot twist that I didn't really see coming, which was interesting because the rest of the movie was fairly predictable. Beyond them playing on your nostalgia, if you took all of those elements out of this film, there really wasn't much else going for it. There really wasn't a plot or a lot of deep characterization until the ending of the movie. So it was almost like you were tricked into thinking you were walking out of a great film when really it was average good at best. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on this like I thought that I would be. I thought it was a fun film to watch. It was pretty good, but I didn't think it was great or anything. Like I said a few times now, the last part of the film was the most compelling, making you feel like you walked out of a really great film, but then when you start reflecting on it, you're like, well, what else, if I take away all of the things that we already knew about Han, and all of the things that they were just playing on nostalgia, then what do I have left, basically? I will say, Lando was great, but they didn't really write too much for him besides, you know, saying some one-liners and playing cards. I really wish that the script catered to his suave and his, Lando. I think that there's a lot of potential there that they didn't tap into, so I really hope that they keep developing that character to really show off, the Lando that we know and love. I think that could have used a lot of work, and it turns out in a lot of the trailers they just cut and paste various one-liners to make it seem like it was more rich of a character than it actually was. Moving into like the technical part of this film, cinematography extremely muted. I think that for this space film. They could have used a little more colors. And the biggest disappointment to this was the music score. It was extremely unimpressive. You barely noticed it. It faded into the background, and the only time when it sparked a little bit of excitement is when they did a callback to John Williams' fantastic, iconic pieces. And that's unlike any Star Wars film to have an unimpressive score. It was kind of diluted and in the background, so that was a little disappointing. I really think they could have been more lavish with it and made it a true Star Wars film in that aspect. You know, I think while the plot had a lot of issues and a really rough start, I think that they kind of redeemed it towards the end of the film. There was a surprise prequel appearance in there that's kind of strange. Like, I wasn't really expecting it to be the way that they did it. Looked a little weird, that's all I'm going to say about it. And that's not the reason why I think they redeemed it. The reason why I think that they redeemed the plot was not because of the surprise character at the end. Those of you who have seen it know who I'm talking about. I think they redeemed it because they had a lot of things going for them towards the end. The characters were developing further. We got to see a little glimpse into, you know, why Han is the way that he is. I will say that I am extremely curious to see where they take this in the future. And you know, I'm not too mad, which is, I think it's a good thing. And that's going to wrap up my review of Solo, A Star Wars Story. If you guys have seen it, leave comments down below. Like I said earlier, I didn't really spoil too much. Pretty much everything in the film was stuff that we already knew. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.